They'll be relaxing, having a bit of a mess around, just keep knocking the time up by. Very relaxed and chilled in there. A bit of music might be playing, ribbing each other, a bit of fun. But yeah, they'll just be kind of taking it easy before they come out and go for it.
Let's just remind you of the two teams. So Sussex unchanged from the team that won on Tuesday night against Hampshire. So, against Essex. Luke Wright, Phil Salt, Travis Head, Ravi Bapara, David Visa, Delray Rawlins, George Garton, Chris Jordan, Will Beer, Tim Mills and Archie Lennon, the 16-year-old leg spinner who's already taken 4 wickets so far in the Blast this year. And for Surrey, it's just the one change with Ricky Clark coming in from outdone. So Jason Roy, Will Jacks, Laurie Evans, Sam Curran, Jamie Smith, Jamie Overton, where am I here? Jordan Clark, Tom Curran, Ricky Clark, Gareth Batty and Dan Moriarty. Those are the two teams. And also, I think as far as this game is concerned, I mean, we mentioned this before, it's an absolutely power-packed game. It's 3 against 2 teams that have got 3 from 3. What would it mean as well in terms of if we get a game on here and sending the message out to the rest of the South group, beating one of the toughest teams in the group, stopping their momentum, keeping Surrey's going. If you go back to last season, it's 10 group stage wins in a row. Really sets us up, doesn't it?
Well, it's put us into a good position. We've got a good reputation of 2020 over the last 12, 18 months.
Yeah, real appetite for it now.
Last season's competition, we had that great run. So we've started well today, or the last week or two. So I think, we'll be seen as a team that's going to be hard to beat.
Okay, but before we get to that point, we've got to get a game on here at the Kia Oval, and hopefully we will do so, and hopefully we won't lose too many overs in the process. And so we will let you know as and when we get a start time here at the Kia Oval for Surrey against Sussex Sharks, which is game 4 of the South Group in the 2021 Vitality Blast. And in the meantime, we'll just leave you in the very capable hands of Mark Church on commentary, and we'll see you again very shortly.
Performance, so they'll have that on their minds, but I think good start, and you want to finish in the top 4, but really you want to finish in the top 2 if you can.
Yeah, Johnny, what I would say as well is the really good sides, and just welcome to everybody as well on the Surrey live stream, if I could say that, because pictures available with our commentary tonight. What I would say about the really good sides in T20 is that whole thing about everybody knowing their role. And you don't have to have superstars to do that. And I think sometimes you can go out and buy a massive overseas player and you fit your team in around that overseas player, if that makes sense. Whereas sometimes actually you've already got the players to do a job and they know what their role is. So looking at somebody like Hashim Amla, Hashim can't get in the Surrey starting 11 at the moment, but his time will come at some point. But if Surrey had sort of said to themselves, right, we're going to build our side around Hashim Amla, then somebody else wouldn't have got.
There's something about a drive that goes for 6 over extra cover, isn't there? There's an elegance and a beauty about the thing. 2 left-handers, of course. So he can target the shorter leg side. That's a good shot, though, full and straight. That will end the over, so Simpson will remain on strike. 22 from it, though. That is a cracking launch pad. That is 16 gone. 142 for 3. Now, you were mentioning about what's possible from here on in. I guess the one thing that might be an issue is that David Worrell's still got 1 over. His 3 overs have cost 17 so far with 1 wicket. It's a case of get what you can from his over, because he's bound to bowl it, and then just go crackers at the others.
Well, Benny Howell, I think, will probably bowl out. He's got 2 overs left. He's the usual death bowler. So then you've got to find 2 more, maybe 1 for Worrell, 1 for Payne or Shaw, or Higgins.
It's a nice turn around to the leg side. And a single that gets Morgan on strike.
Which I think is what the local crowd want to see. They've been purring ever since that previous over, those shots. You can really hear the noise.
Well, that's, by Owen Morgan standards, agricultural. I mean, if I played that, that would be one of my favourite shots. Now, at the moment, the ground staff are quite shall we say, relaxed about the whole shooting match. But word is apparently out back that we can't see, there might be a little bit of weather on the way. Oh, that's a good shot. Now, that will, yes, just clear the fielder down at long on. That's Hammond. He's not popping in there. He's going to get the ball.
That's the longest boundary, isn't it? And he got a lot of height on that, John Simpson. It made a lovely sound off the bat. That 6 went high and just kept on going. At one point, you thought Miles Hammond was interested in catching that, but he just got enough of it.
150 up. Now that's 1. Can they push it for 2? No.
200 is not off the cards here, Macca. 3 and a bit overs, 49 from here. Very doable in this day and age. You wouldn't have said that, would you? At 66 for 1 off 10.
Did feel unlikely. Oh, full toss. Oh, that will feel from Owen Morgan like you've won the. It is just a single. Benny Howell just covering the ball. So is this a cross seamer? It's a slower ball. And Simpson has tried to late cut it, but not been able to. So that's another one in the book. 17, 10 off the over. What are they thinking? What's the conversation?
Morgan 34 not out off 16 balls at the moment, striking at over 200, 2 4s and 3 6s. Simpson 9 off 4 with that 6. Just run you through the bowling figures. Daniel Worrell 3 overs, 1 for 17. Pick of the bowlers, you'd say. David Payne, who's bowling now, his final over, 3 overs, none for 35. Josh Shaw, 3 overs, 1 for 20. He was excellent as well. Higgins, 3 overs, none for 30. Suffered in the final over, which went for 22. Howell, 3 overs, none for 33. Uncharacteristically expensive for him. And Tom Smith, the left-arm spinner, did a very good job against his old side. 2 overs, 1 for 13. Payne will be the first bowler to bowl out. And then what do you do with the final 2 overs?
Well, I'm slightly surprised. His bowling has been the most expensive of the bowlers used. But of course, towards the back end, when everyone's swinging from the hip, you can pull your figures back a bit. And, well, was Owen Morgan trying some kidology there? He doesn't get the call.
Good umpiring, I think. Morgan had gone across there. You've got to then change the line. Was well bowled, actually, by Payne. Clever stuff. He saw what Morgan was trying to do. Payne is their regular and experienced, or one of their regular and experienced death bowlers, so I guess they're just sticking with the plan.
Morgan's hit that very hard. 1 bounce down to Hammond. That got there very quickly. Interesting that he's bowling left arm around to the 2 left-handers, so trying to use the angle and get it presumably as far outside off stump as he can to take the short leg side boundary out of the equation. And he's going to be pushing that wide mark as close as he can, but without attracting Peter Hartley's attention.
That's one thing Gloucestershire have done really well today, actually. They've defended the short boundary magnificently with their bowling. Just like that. Oh, nasty bounce for Glenn Phillips there.
That got very big, didn't it? We said about the ball is carried and bounced, and Phillips just got himself a bit of a tangle there. Did sort of come through to him at shoulderish height. Squeezed, well played. Not a great deal he can do with that though. Again, it's not a boundary ball. It's guided out to point, the sweeper where Smith is, and it's a single. Very efficient performance from Gloucestershire. This is, if you like, the template Middlesex have seen what works. Morgan threw that too early. Well, having said, I was surprised he was on. He's bowled a brilliant over. Can't take that away.
Absolutely. They needed this kind of an over, Gloucestershire. Middlesex had just started to get going in the previous 2 or 3. This has really reined them back in. 200 looking a lot further off now.
Look at Morgan, perfectly still, then just springs into action and hits it to the long off fielder. But it is again just a single. What an over this has been. Dot, single, wide, single, dot, single. In the 18th over of a T20 game. Simpson bowled. Threatened to make a move in the crease and come down the pitch. And gets cleaned up with a really good one. Full, straight, right in at the base of the stumps.
Payne had 2 options there. He could have gone wide of the off stump and full and gone for the dot ball, but instead he thought, nah, I want a wicket. I'm going to target those stumps. That was a perfectly executed Yorker. Simpson had gone too far across his stumps. You could see what he was trying to do, but Payne was too clever for him. Fantastic final over by the experienced left-arm seamer, going for just 4 in the 18th over, and takes a wicket. And that brings Luke Holman to the crease, fresh off the back of his maiden T20 half century a couple of games ago against Kent. He will be full of confidence. Only made 10 in the run chase against Hampshire, but he got it off 6 balls and kept the momentum going nicely with Cracknell.
So Higgins will bowl the 19th. Now, of course, the one thing about this Middlesex middle order is there's a lot of lefties in there. And therefore, in a way, you're not able to exploit the short side at both ends. But there's nothing they can do about that. The team is what you've got. Swung hard by Morgan. And he'll be back on strike as they take 2.
It is a good point, though, because if you look at the lineup, you've got 3 right-handers coming in 1, 2, 3, and then 3 left-handers 4, 5, 6. If you can just split them up a little bit, it does make it harder for the opposition, especially with a shorter boundary on one side.
That may not clear him. Straight in. And Hammond once again, he took 3 or 4 steps in, settled it himself, and unfortunately Owen Morgan was attacking the longer boundary and he wasn't able to quite clear on this occasion. And Owen Morgan will go for 38.
Good innings by the England captain. .38 off 22 balls. He did manage to up the ante for Middlesex when they needed it. Unfortunately, just got a bit stuck at the end of his innings there. They bowled well to him for his final 6 or 7 balls, and in the end forced him to try and hit over the man at long on the longer side. And Miles Hammond picks up a second catch of the game. That one probably even easier than the first, bringing Chris Green to the crease, the saviour for Middlesex in that run chase against Hampshire. 26 not out of 13 balls. He really strikes a mean cricket ball. And now they've got a left-right combination which might work out better for Middlesex.
Well, Holman's underway. And Green will therefore take guard. He's had a big impact, hasn't he, Chris Green, both bat and ball, which is what you want from your overseas. Might not be your preferred option. You might be coming as a bowler, but an opportunity presents with the bat, you absolutely have to make the most of it. Where's he swinging, Higgins? Well, he's swinging high, hard and handsome, and long enough. That's not a bad one to start with, is it?
What a first ball! That's exactly where he hit the winning runs the other day. Loves that area, Chris Green. He's actually a really pure, lovely striker of a cricket ball, and he remains so still. Big back lift, doesn't move around much at all.
Flayed. He'll be disappointed that that is only one. He was going to try and scamper for two. In fairness, they would have got halfway back, and you can just see him on the picture there slamming the bat into his pad because he feels that should be another boundary. But 7 in 2. Around the wicket for Holman. Push hard. You heard they called 2 straight away, and with Hammond coming in all the way from the boundary in front of us, really got no chance of stopping 2 there. You've got to show willing as a fielder, but you know in your heart of hearts it's a bit futile.
Probably would have run 3 if it was either you or I coming in there. Quite a long way. Good stuff, and it means that the right-handed Green will be on strike for the final over. 168 for 5, Middlesex are. Could do with a big one here. Maybe 15 and above. That would get them up past 180.
Just a reminder to spectators to please keep
Will that be competitive? We'll have to wait and see. 215 wasn't.
Problem is, as we've mentioned, it's Dan Worrell bowling it. And 3 overs have cost 17 so far. Essentially what you're saying is, ideally you'd like Middlesex to score in this 1 over what he's gone for in the previous 3. Right. So Green, where can he attack? Oh, it's a back of the hand slower ball. Green has got it away for 1. That'll bring, of course, the left-hander Holman on strike, who can attack the leg side boundary. And that was a cracking delivery, the back of the hand slower ball.
I think overall, actually, Gloucestershire have bowled really well. Scoreboard perhaps doesn't tell you the full story. 169 heading into the last over. But just have a feeling Middlesex are slightly under par here.
Swing and a miss. So that's 2 balls of the final over gone. They've gone for a grand total of a single. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to remember, of course, smaller ground than a county ground. Quick scoring, short boundary on one side. So, generally speaking, you'd be thinking of 180, 190, potentially even 200 being par. Well, that sounds a crazy thing to say, but you probably would. So Middlesex need to try and eke out another 10.
Backward point, Will Beer comes around to do the fielding, and there's no run. So the field at the moment, Tymal Mills is down to our right hand side. We're at the Vauxhall end at third man. We've got Chris Jordan at slip, Rawlings at backward point, Beer's out at cover point, Bapara lurking in the covers there. Luke Wright stood up at mid-off, mid-on, fine leg on the edge of the circle, and then the deep backward square. So the two out are third man and deep backward square as Visa goes wider of the crease, and Jason Roy has swung this high in the air over Lenham, who goes running back. Oh, what a grab! What a grab that is by the young man, Archie Lenham. It has gone high in the air. He's on the edge of the circle at fine leg. He's gone sprinting back and has taken an absolutely brilliant catch over his right shoulder. Jason Roy goes without scoring, and Surrey in the first over, Adrian Harms a 0-for-1.
Do you know what? I can't quite believe that. I mean, that is a staggering catch. I thought he had absolutely no chance whatsoever. It went high into the sky. He was running back. You described it beautifully, Churchy. I can't believe he's caught it. I mean, that is what an amazing piece of cricket. Quite brilliant catch. And you could just tell by the way the Sussex players celebrated. They couldn't quite believe it either. That was amazing. And Jason Roy wanders off. Well, he probably can't quite believe it. That is a magnificent piece of fielding by young Archie Lenham. We've spoken about his leg spin, but what a catch. That is incredible.
I tell you how long it was up there for. Jason Roy's out for 1. They completed a run before it was caught. That's how long it was up there for. So on the scoreboard it's 1-for-1. Now Archie Lenham, he went round the world with his bowling the other night. I wonder if they're going up. No, it's 0-for-1. I wonder why they put 1-for-1. It is 0-for-1, but it was up there long enough for Jason Roy to run a single, but he was out. So they got that wrong on the scoreboard. 0-for-1. Will Jacks is out there now as Jacks drives his first ball because they crossed, and there is no run as Visa gets a hand to it. But I didn't think Archie Lenham there had a hope in hell of getting anywhere near that, and he's gone over his shoulder, running back. It's a brilliant catch, and as I say, that will go round the world. That will definitely be one of those clips in the world of social media that will go viral, everybody, as in comes Visa once again. Jacks is forward, punching up towards mid-off, and there is no run as the throw comes in over the top of the stumps. And at the moment, Visa, no runs in the first over. The big wicket of Jason Roy. This is the perfect start from Sussex, Adrian.
Yeah, and as you say, not just a great catch, but also Jason Roy. And in terms of a match, that's always a big wicket to get in T20 cricket. The Surrey opener.
Visa, final ball of this, the first over, and it's our first runs, and it's a lovely shot from Will Jacks. Just stands up tall and then whips it through the leg side for 4. So it's had everything that over, really. One of the great catches that you'll ever see in T20. A lovely shot to get off the mark from Will Jacks. 1 over gone, and Surrey, having been stuck in by Sussex, off 4-for-1.
Well, God, I'm just watching Archie Lenham wandering down to... I spoke to him on Saturday night when he got his 3 wickets down at home, and he was saying he couldn't quite believe it, and, you know, he's very, very, humble young man. And it was interesting when he got the catch, they were sort of lifting up, because he's quite slight, isn't he? I mean, he's not a big lad at all, and now he's sort of doing his warm-ups down at the far end. He probably can't quite believe what's happened to him in the last week, really. But that really was an incredible catch.
Well, I didn't. I gave him absolutely no chance of getting anywhere near it, to be honest with you, and went sprinting back, and to take it over his shoulder, quite brilliant. And I was about to say, what number's Archie Lenham? I know now, number 41.
Well, we know this is his number 15. It's George Garton who's coming running into bowl to the ex-Surrey man, Laurie Evans. Throw comes. Oh, that a hit. That would have been out. Well, it wasn't a particularly well-judged single. It was played into the offside by Laurie Evans. He called Jacks through for the single. The throw came in from Will Beer, and even from this far away, I think if Beer hits, probably Jacks goes.
And it's not like Laurie Evans doesn't know the Sussex fielders.
Yeah.
So interesting this for Laurie Evans, of course, because he couldn't play against Sussex last year because of the low moon.
Of course, yes.
So this is his first game against Sussex in terms of T20 since the move back to Surrey. But yeah, that he almost sold Will Jacks down the river there.
Yeah, he did, and Jacks was, not expecting the single. In comes Garton, coming into bowl to Will Jacks is in and bowls, and Jacks works this one to backward point, fielded there by Will Beer, and there is No run. Surrey 5 for 1. Sussex winning the toss and asking Surrey to bat first here. Floodlights on. And that really heavy cloud away in the distance, it doesn't look quite as if it's as closed in as much as it was. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll get through. Still some dark cloud around, don't get me wrong, but at least we're playing as Garton runs away from us. He's in and bowls, and Jacks drives. That's a super shot. Overpitched by George Garton and just put away without any problem at all. Belted away through the covers. You probably heard the sound of the bat on ball. Lovely shot by Jacks. He goes to 8 and Surrey to 9 for 1.
Well, he lit up the competition in Surrey's first game, Will Jacks, with that 70 off 24 balls against Middlesex at Lords. His 50 came up in 15 balls against Middlesex at Lords, but that was a long half volley, but it was put away violently.
Garton runs away from us, in again, bowls, and Jacks plays very straight down the ground as far as Luke Wright. This time it's a much better judged single. Wright's throw come in, didn't threaten the stumps, but Jacks was safely home, a well judged single, and he goes to 9 and Surrey to 10 for 1.
I was looking at some stats before this game, and obviously Luke Wright went to his 8,000th T20 run. Ravi Papara currently sitting on 7,446 T20 runs. So it's not bad, is it? In the covers that are mid-off and cover, there's over 15,000 T20 runs.
In comes Garton again, left arm over wicket bowls to Evans, and I think that's come off the... We'll have to wait and see. I think that might have come off the thigh pad. We'll wait for the umpire's signal. Yes, indeed, it did. And runs away down to fine leg. So 4 more to the total, 14 for 1. And I think Will Beer on 99 T20 wickets, the Sussex leg spinner. Doesn't perhaps get the credit he deserves, Will Beer. He's been a very good player for Sussex in this format for quite a few seasons now. As Garton on his way again. 9 off the over so far, comes in a bowl that's short, pulled away by Evans, but straight to mid-on where it's fielded by Chris Jordan. That's the end of George Garton's over. And I'm sorry, 10 off the over. Surrey are 14 for 1. Laurie Evans is on 1. Will Jacks is on 9. You're listening to live cricket here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey. Myself, Adrian Harms, alongside Mark Church.
Well, the thing here as well is for the spinners in the Sussex side, Lennon, I suppose Rawlings could do a bit. Big boundaries, massive boundaries. That's the way they like to play it here. For the Surrey spinners, Moriarty, Batty, Jacks. Now, if you're going to go over the top or you're going to go leg side or towards the covers, you've got to get all of it. It's a long old carry. We're almost slap bang in the middle of the square this evening. So it's a long carry towards Archbishop Tennyson's school side of the ground. It's a shorter leg side towards the Peter May and the gasometer, but there's still pretty long boundaries. So against the spinners, if you're going to go, you've got to get all of it. It's going to be Tymal Mills from the pavilion end, coming left arm over the wicket. No, he's not. He gets to the crease and lost his run up a touch there, did Mr. Mills. So he's going to run in and bowl some rockets and slower balls. Looking forward to this. Great to see him back.
Yeah, it is. And he's worked really, really hard on me up until Christmas. He had a back corset on. He was in so many problems with his back, but he's worked really hard on his fitness. And looks in good shape at the moment. Let's hope it carries on.
Start of the third over, coming into Will Jacks, and Jacks chips it leg side. Now, is that put down? Was that bump ball or is that put down? Short mid-wicket Travis Head. It's a difficult one, that.
Yeah, my initial feeling was it was a bump ball, yes. But they look really... Mills looked disappointed. I wonder.
I couldn't work out whether Mills was looking disappointed as trying to get the crowd going, or that was chipped straight to Travis Head, who didn't catch it at short mid-wicket. 14 for 1. As Mills once more will come in left arm over the wicket to Will Jacks, and that's down the leg side, looking for the Yorker. This will be wide signalled by umpire Debenham, and 15 for 1. Yeah, I couldn't make out from... There weren't any other hands-on heads anywhere, but what I couldn't make out was that Mills was just sort of trying to get the crowd to react to it, or actually Travis Head put that down.
Looking at Travis Head's body language, I think he might have put that down. He just looks disappointed, doesn't he?
15 for 1. As Mills from the pavilion end once more. Little skip as always at the top of his mark. Then left arm over the wicket he comes to Will Jacks. Well, that one Will Jacks has picked up, put over mid-wicket and straight into the Peter May stand for 6. So Travis Head wasn't getting anywhere near that one. It's a pretty good shot, that, because again, Time Out Mills is looking for the Yorker. It's come out as a low full toss, and Will Jacks has just picked it up with a flick of the wrist, bang, and that's gone flat straight into the Peter May stand for 6 runs, our first 6 of the evening, and 15 to Will Jacks, 21 for 1 now. Surrey in this the third over.
Yeah, and it wasn't the greatest delivery, was it? And with only 2 men allowed, as you say, outside of the circle in these opening 6 overs, it was almost a free hit for Will Jacks. I'm just looking there at Travis. It'd be good to see a replay of that, because that could be a big drop.
Yeah, he's sort of still stood with his hands on his hips at the moment. It's Travis Head. As in over the wicket comes Mills, and this is up and over, long off from Will Jacks. What a shot that is from Will Jacks for 6 more. He's just stood there and thrown his hands through a fairly good length delivery from Mills, and that has soared over long off for 6. He's at it again, Will Jacks. He's on to 21 now, and Surrey are 27 for 1. Yeah, I'd say Travis Head looks like he's just missed the bus. It's one of, it's like you've run and you've seen it going, and then it's gone without you.
And there's not another one for an hour.
Yeah, and he still looks like he's just missed the bus at mid-wicket, Travis Head. So maybe it was a chance. 27 for 1. As Mills goes left arm round the wicket now. Oh, he's done him again. This one's up and over the top of extra cover for 6 more. That's gone 1 bounce straight into the groundsman's workshop. That is a huge strike from Will Jacks. Inside out, over extra cover, 1 bounce, and straight through the garage door of the groundsman's workshop. There will have been a couple of groundsmen with their feet up there having a cup of tea, sat on a tractor, and all of a sudden the ball we're using has gone straight into the workshop, and this will take a while to get back now, and it'll have to be sanitised. Will Jacks is on to 27. Don't forget, this is Tamal Mills bowling to him.
Absolutely.
He's not a spinner, and he's gone 6-6-6.
And actually, we'll have to wait and see. There may be a replay a bit later of whether that was a catch to Travis Head. But if it was a chance, already that's cost Sussex 18 runs.
Well, this is off 10 balls now from Will Jacks. 27 off 10. It's a bit slow for him, actually, because of course he got to 50 off 50 at Lords. But those are 2-1. Yeah, the first 6 was a good shot, but those next 2, wow.
Well, they're wonderful shots, weren't they? You know, and as you say, against Tamal Mills.
Well, the other thing he's done there is Tamal Mills has changed his angle. He's come round the wicket at him, and he's still gone straight over extra cover for 6. Where does he go now, Tamal Mills? Slower one, perhaps? No, goes short, and that's punched off the back foot through the covers for 4 more. Just a touch shot that from Will Jacks. He's just stood up straight again. Tamal Mills here has a problem. He's not quite sure where to bowl to Will Jacks. Jacks is on to 31. He's gone 6-6-6-4. And Surrey are 37 for 1 in the third over.
Well, I guess the thing is there that he's pitched a couple up to Will Jacks, and they've disappeared over extra cover for 6, so that one was just almost inevitably a little shorter, but really punched away, beautifully timed, and the ball raced away. I can see Will Beer, the spinner, warming up, so it'll look right, maybe just might have to shuffle the pack a little here. He won't panic though, Luke. He's seen it all before, fielding at mid-off.
Jack stands with that bat raised as Mills is round the wicket to him. There's your slower ball, but it's a bit wide outside the off stump, and it will be signal wide.
So there's been 2 wides in the over.
1 more to the total, 38 for 1 now. But so Jack's here, 31 off 11 balls, 3 4s, 3 6s.
And this over's gone for 24 so far.
And as I say, this is against...
No, sorry, yes, 24.
Against one of the better bowlers in T20 cricket. And Time Out Mills at the moment, he's a little bit rattled out there. I don't think he's quite sure where to go, because he knows that leg side boundary is shorter. As they're defending the leg side boundary, as he goes round the wicket again, and this is driven thick edge, flies away down to the third man boundary for 4 more. So that's a massive over. And Will Jacks 35 not out, Surrey 42 for 1. And that over from Tamal Mills there has gone for 28, and actually that's 6-6-6-4-4, because obviously we had the wide as well. So there's 2 wide deliveries of cost Tamal Mills, and we think possibly Travis Head dropped Will Jacks first ball of that over. So that over as well said everything. It's living up to the billing at the moment, Mr. Harms. 3 overs gone and Surrey are 42 for 1.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether that was a drop. I don't know whether we might get a look at a replay of that, but Wooljax was on 9, if indeed that was a chance. And you talk about catches win matches. Well, if that was, then that could be a very expensive drop. I just wonder if this is a change now for Sussex, because Will Beer is coming into the Sussex attack. I'm not sure that Sussex would have brought him on this early necessarily, so maybe, and of course it's still during the power play, so only 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. As in comes Beer and bowls to Evans. Shaw pulled away by Laurie Evans, and that's going to go all the way for 6. Just wait for the umpire's signal. I'm pretty sure that went for 6. Yes, indeed it did. Too short from Will Beer, and Evans just hauled the ball away over deep mid-wicket for 6 runs, and Surrey are off to an absolute flyer.
Yeah,
48 for 1.
This is a tough one for Luke Wright. He can only have 2 outside the circle. Now, where they want to defend is that leg side boundary. That's the longest boundary, but that one from Will Beer was halfway down. So Laurie Evans, even I said, if you're going to go leg side, you've got to get all of it. As a right-hander from this Vauxhall end, he got all of it. So you can see what they're up to here. They're just going to try and defend over towards Archbishop Tennyson's school side of the ground, but that was so short that Laurie Evans gave it everything and it went for 6.
So the 2 men are on the leg side. There's a long on and a deep mid-wicket, almost a cow corner, as Beer is in and Evans is down the wicket driving straight down the field to Delray Rawlins, who comes in and fields. Just a single on this occasion, which will please Sussex. The total goes to 49 for 1. Evans to 8 and Wooljax on 35 off. Did you say the ball? How many balls he's faced out there?
12 balls now. 12 balls, 35, 4 4s, 3 6s.
So Beer tosses the ball from hand to hand. What a start this is for Surrey. Floodlights on, and Will Beer just waits. Comes in over the wicket, bowls, and Wooljax just places quietly to backward point. It's a dot ball, a rare dot ball, and Sussex will be pleased about that. Well fielded by David Visa.
The other thing I think here is, Adrian, that Surrey will have seen a weather forecast. Now, if they think there's more rain coming, they have gone after this early, because if this is a short game, that Duckworth Lewis will go flying up.
In comes Beer again, bowls, and Jax is back and hammers that into the covers as far as Bapara, who gets in the throw, misses the stumps. There won't be an overthrow though, because George Garton is backing up, but the 50 up for Surrey in the 4th over. And the 50 partnership between the pair. Yes, I'd forgotten that, because Jason Robb had almost forgotten that wonderful catch by Archie Lenham in amongst all these attacking shots from Wooljax. Surrey 50 for 1 from just 20 balls, that 50 partnership. As Beer juggles the ball from hand to hand again. I'll have a word about the weather in a moment, but this is exciting stuff. Laurie Evans on strike, comes in bowls. Attempted sweep from Laurie Evans. He's struck on the pad. The ball bounces down on the leg side. Not out, says umpire. Is that Ben Debenham at this end? Or is that Russell Warren? They've both got catches. Yes, I think you're right.
But I think Surrey's thinking here is, let's say the worst happens, and we did have a 5 over game. If Surrey were 70 for 1 after 5, that's going to go shooting up if Sussex only get 5 overs to chase.
Beer in bowls. Oh, now that does look close, and he's given out on this occasion. Laurie Evans is on his way, and Will Beer, as is so often in T20 cricket, gets the breakthrough for Sussex. It was a brave decision by Luke Wright to bowl his leg spinner in the power play, particularly with Jax going like a train. But it's come off as far as the Sharks are concerned. Laurie Evans hit the first ball of that over for 6. He's now gone LBW for 9, I think that was. And Surrey are 50 for 2 at the end of the 4th over.
Yeah, it's good bowling that from Will Beer and good captaincy from Luke Wright, because Laurie Evans wanting to go leg side, defending that huge boundary, and he just skidded that one on to Laurie Evans. And Laurie Evans missed, and it looked out from here. It looked out. You expected the finger to go up. But I think Surrey's thinking, because the ground staff are heading towards the covers.
Yeah.
So we have to have 5 overs of the Sussex Sharks innings to constitute a game of cricket. Now, we might get one more in from... I wonder if this is why Luke Wright's going to Chris Jordan here,
Yes.
is keep this as tight as possible, because the ground staff are making their way round at the moment to the covers. Now, the reason I'm saying that is if he bowls this over, then we're off, and it keeps raining, and then Sussex get out there for their 5 overs, that total will go up. So that wicket is big from a Sussex point of view, because that changes that Duckworth-Lewis pass score. So I wonder if this is why Luke Wright as well now has gone to Chris Jordan. So Chris Jordan from the pavilion end to bowl our 5th over, coming into Will Jacks, and Jacks toe end of the bat, through the leg side it goes, out towards deep mid wicket. But Will Jacks normally plays like this, but he is playing a shot of ball at the moment. Jacks on to 37, Sam Curran comes on to strike.
I'm just looking at where the weather was coming from. You were saying earlier on, Church, that where we're looking at sort of 2 o'clock from our commentary boxes towards Crystal Palace, and that's exactly where the sky filled in before when we got that rain, and it does look very, very grey and dank and dark over there, so possibly there is rain in the air. In fact, that's where the you can see the on the television screen, that's where the cameras are going, and that's probably why the ground staff are now poised by the covers, as you say.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Well, there's
rain, go away.
We're underway. That's the one good thing, is we are underway. So we just have to hope if it does rain, it stops and we don't lose too much time. But it looks like when it does start to rain, it's going to rain very, very heavily, I have to say. 51 for 2. As Chris Jordan round the wicket to the left-handed Sam Curran, and Sam Curran's first ball, I think, hits the thigh guard. It's well bowled by Chris Jordan as always, and leg by will be the signal, and that'll be 1 more to the total, and 52 for 2. But I wonder if that's the thinking as well from Luke Wright here. He can see what's coming weather-wise, so go to Chris Jordan. He's just got a wicket, which will mean it goes up Duckworth-Lewis, and also he's gone to his bowler and said, please, please, please keep this tight.
Our red umbrella lady is up. In fact, I think that's a different red umbrella, but certainly a few umbrellas going up around the ground, sadly.
Waits does Will Jacks with his bat raised on 37 as Jordan's into him, and Jacks, oh, that got to be close. Look, whipping round that front pad, that must have been very tight. Umpire Debenham a shake of the head, but he's whipping round that front pad is Will Jacks, and even from here that looked like that could be tight.
Yeah, I agree. He's just indicating there to Chris Jordan that he felt it was going down the leg side. Chris Jordan has been bowling better in these first 4 matches. I mean, he really does seem to have got his pace back, Chris Jordan. Not that he ever lost it, but he's bowling with a real nip.
Good over this from Chris Jordan. Just a couple of runs off it. 52 for 2, Surrey, as Jordan is in over the wicket to Jacks, and Jacks can't get that away. Again, you can see what he wants to do. He wants to go through the leg side there, Will Jacks, but one's actually gone straight back up the pitch, and Jordan does the fielding off his own bowling, and there's no run. It's getting very gloomy here, even with the lights on.
Yeah,
it's getting very, very gloomy. We've got 2 balls to go.
Even a steward over there's got an umbrella up now in front of the just underneath the scoreboard, Churchy.
Yep, 2 balls to go in this, the 5th over. As Jordan over the wicket, he comes to Will Jacks, and Jacks whips leg side. Hasn't got all of this, it'll just be a single. This is a brilliant over from Chris Jordan, and you can see why Luke Wright's done this. He's gone to Chris Jordan and he said, listen, rain's coming, keep it tight for me. You've just got a wicket, that Duckworth-Lewis goes up, keep this over as tight as you can, and that's exactly what Chris Jordan is doing. 53 for 2, Surrey. And this the 5th over. Sam Curran comes back on to strike, and obviously with Mills going for 28, it can happen. There was probably always going to be a change, but you can see why it's Chris Jordan. And it's around the wicket he comes to Sam Curran, and Curran swing and a miss. Has he got an edge on it? They've gone up for caught behind. I didn't think it got anything on that. Now Chris Jordan's convinced that Sam Curran has. I thought he bat hit the ground and the ball went up, but Chris Jordan's absolutely convinced. We'll see another replay of this now. I'm not sure. Again, it's tough to tell. If it's hit anything, a bat, it's bottom edge rather than outside edge. But, well, Sussex were convinced that Sam Curran's got something on that. He wasn't going anywhere. Umpire hasn't given it. And 5 overs have gone. It's got everything this at the moment. Bit of controversy, 6s, 4s, bit of weather knocking around. Archie Lenham's catch, and 53 for 2. And the umpires chatting to the players. And Luke Wright's asking the question, I think, there about. I think it's the weather. Rather than anything about Sam Curran's decision.
I agree.
I think this is more about we're coming off.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting in that 5 overs gone. Now Luke Wright's having a chat with Sam Curran as they make their way off.
It's raining quite hard now.
Sussex were convinced they heard a noise. They're now coming off. So that's your 5 overs I was talking about. Now what we have to hope is this rain doesn't stay for too long and we can get some more cricket. But I tell you what's been crucial there, if we do get more cricket and Sussex get a chase, Beer's wicket and that over from Chris Jordan, absolutely crucial, because Tymel Mills went for 28, and at that point Surrey were off to an absolute flyer, and that Duckworth Lewis would have gone through the roof. As it is, with that wicket from Will Beer and then a very tidy over from Chris Jordan, we'll have to wait to see. Let's hope we get back out there, but with the rain falling, 53 for 2. But that's been, Adrian Harms, an action-packed 5 overs.
Well, unbelievable. I mean, where do we start? I mean, Will Jacks, obviously 38 off 18 balls, 4 4s, 3 6s. Not too many people hit Tymel Mills for 3 6s in a row. One of them over long off, the other one over extra cover. I mean, just extraordinary blows. We've almost forgotten that quite amazing catch by Archie Lenham that got rid of Jason Roy. It's raining hard now, Churches. In fact, as soon as the players went off, I saw the spectators disappear, but they've all gone, haven't they? They've all gone down onto the concourse. I mean, it's difficult to know with this weather around, with these thunderstorms around, whether it's, sort of a 10 minutes of rain. You can see it in the floodlights now, can't you? It's really raining quite hard.
Well, it is, and just to say that, just for everybody, if this rain sticks around, to constitute a game, each side must have faced or had the opportunity to face 5 overs in order to constitute a match. Now, interesting, isn't it? Because that was the 5th over. He's gone to Chris Jordan. He's bowled an over that only went for 2. Then they've all got together to talk, and they've come off. So we'll wait to see, but this could be, if it goes like this, the worst case scenario now is we don't get out there again, but the next thing could be Sussex have a total to chase off 5 overs. Now it'll be different to the 53 because of Duckworth Lewis, obviously, but how big is that wicket of Will Beer followed up by an over from Chris Jordan that only went for 2 runs after Tymel Mills went for 28. That could be huge, actually. But let's keep our fingers crossed we won't get out there for a little bit though, because it's now raining quite heavily. But wow, what a 5 overs that was. Well, and everything, didn't it?
Just incredible. I'm not sure whether Johnny can hear us. I think Johnny can hear us next door. Johnny, we were just waxing lyrical about what an entertaining 5 overs that has been, despite we've now got the rain, which is a real shame. First of all, Johnny, I mean, you just said it as well. What a catch by Archie Lenham. I mean, that was something else, wasn't it? Yes, he did. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, certainly. First of all, when it hit it, I wasn't sure. Churchy said, "Oh, I think that's a chance." I mean, and if we'll see where this game goes. But I mean, you talk about a drop. I mean, immediately he goes for 3 6s in a row.
Yeah, I couldn't make out, Johnny. I couldn't make out whether Tymel Mills was really disappointed or was just doing it for the crowd. But then watching Travis Head's reaction a couple of balls later, as we described it, he was like the guy that run for the bus and missed it, and there wasn't another one for an hour. So I wonder if it was a chance, and it was costly, because then it's gone 6-6-6-4-4. So, but again, I'll go back to what I was saying. That was huge, that wicket of Laurie Evans at that point from Will Beer, and that over from Chris Jordan. There are 2 overs at the moment that could prove critical in this game. 28 off Timeout Mills, that over from Chris Jordan. They could be the 2 we look back at when and if we get back out there, and how many overs are we going to have left in the game.
So Gloucestershire ticking along nicely at exactly 10 runs and over. We have a game now, so if it rains, we will have a result. And at the moment, Gloucestershire just ahead of the game. Duckworth Lewis Stern par score, 45 at the moment. They're on 50. That wicket's just helped Middlesex out a little bit on that front.
This is where the experience of Mercer is going to come in to try and dry up the runs a little bit and try and push that DLS par score a little bit higher and keep that total round about where it is at the moment. To give you a comparison, the Gloucestershire 50 came up final ball of the 6th, the Middlesex halfway through the 8th.
Oh, again, that's delightful from Ian Cobain. Just pure timing through his hands of that delivery. He really is a classy operator. He's not just about power. He's got some excellent touch and timing as well.
Well, he's come out, it's like he's having a net. A few throwdowns. Can I practice cover drives, please, coach? And he's hit 2 absolute peaches.
He's been in good form this year. He even broke back into the county championship team. Got 100 against Leicestershire in a fantastic final day run chase for Gloucestershire. Good fielding by the big man, Sterling. He can move.
That's what bowlers will love to see. Everyone's got to do their bits. Every run is going to be vital. Paul Sterling has been there, done that. At international level and club level, he knows how important that is to back up the bowlers.
It's actually been a pretty good over this from Tim Murtagh. He's just bowled just back of a length. Tough to get that away. Cobain did play one fantastic cover drive that beat the man at cover. That really was a glorious shot. Nothing really wrong with the delivery. His 3rd over on the bounce, Murtagh. Wonder if he'll bowl 4. This may be his last one. Shorter. Just a single.
Required rate at the moment, round about 8.7 and over. So, Murta is going to be round about that come the end of this over. Just need to slow it up a touch. He's getting a little bit darker, and you know what? That could play into Middlesex's hands as well, even if it doesn't rain. Just maybe a little bit of the lack of light.
Hoiked over the leg side for a 6 into the trees. So Murta can't close out that over, and that is the power play done. 61 for 1.
Well, light, dark, whatever. If you swing and it hits the middle of the bat, it's disappearing. And that was straight into the trees. And that, as you say, is the power play. 61 for 1, so that's 17 runs in advance of where Middlesex were after the power play. And now, obviously we've got to sanitise the ball, but that gives Owen Morgan a chance to have a chat with Stephen Finn and come up with a plan. Because they are still 11 runs ahead DLS at the moment. Middlesex have got to find a handbrake from somewhere.
The field is spread then. We've got a third man and a deep point on the offside, a long on and a deep square leg and a deep fine leg on the leg side. Oh, bit of a leading edge, but beautifully timed actually by Ian Cobain. Wow, he has come in and just looked $1 million. Natural timer of the ball, isn't he?
Wow, another great shot. Stephen Finn thinks he might have a chance of a caught and bowled.
It looked like a leading edge, really, and then it just ran away. And again, that's a lovely shot too. Just leant back there, gave himself the room, and a lovely back cut behind square. Impressive again from Ian Cobain.
He's playing a different game to everyone else at the moment. It doesn't matter where Middlesex bowl to him at the moment. He has a cultured shot in response to it. We've seen cover drives. That's a glorious late cut. Well, it's just sort of bent at the waist, leant backwards, left the blade open, and guides it past wide third man. That's a bit more of a hoik. But I think he's entitled to 1.
He is human after all. Just slightly lost his shape there. But he won't mind too much. He's already raced to 19 with 4 boundaries in 11 balls.
Come on, Finny.
And he's not really trying to hit a ball in anger yet. Cobain's already caught up with Miles Hammond, actually, who's been in for 6 overs. He's only faced 13 balls, though, Hammond, so he's not scoring slowly exactly. Strike rate 146.
Chris Green's going to go from long on to deep mid-wicket.
He's going to bang this in short, I think. Both mid-on and mid-off rather are up. So you wouldn't want to go full here. There you go.
Some carry on that one as well. We mentioned it earlier on in the day, but that one went through. Well, I think we're now getting to the stage where it's wickets more than anything else that matter for Middlesex here. 18 ahead of the DLS. They're going to need wickets to make this tight.
think that's a good plan for Finn. Bang it in short, get his line right to the left-hander, force him to try and hit over the fielders on the longer leg side boundary. Just aim for that hip. And now we have our first look at spin. Chris Green was uncharacteristically for him very expensive in the game against Hampshire. He opened the bowling, in fact, in that game. He likes bowling with a new ball, so they changed their plan today, Middlesex. 4 overs, 1 for 55 for the overseas off-spinner. Doesn't often go for that many, let me tell you. He's normally very economical, has a real plan, comes round the wicket to the right hand as he hangs it outside their off stump, slants it across, almost tries to bowl wide. Yorkers, like we've seen with the Gloucestershire seamers.
And you have to assume this is the plan. He's coming around the wicket, bowling to the left-hander in Hammond with a short boundary on the leg side. So I think we can rule out the fact that anything pitching straighter than off stump and probably a good bit outside.
Yeah, so with the right-hander, maybe he won't want to go too far outside the off stump, because although he's got protection with one man sweeping on the boundary and a long off, it is very short out there. So if Cobain beats the man at cover or the man behind square on the offside, it's sure to be a boundary.
Nice single from the first ball of the over, from the bowler's point of view, that.
Coming over the wicket, Green. Don't see this too often from him. Reverse. Haven't seen many of those today either. And that one played to perfection by Ian Cobain.
Was that a leggy? That, to me, looked like he bowled that one out the back of the hand. Which is interesting, because we're just talking about the fact he's going to spin with the off-spin back into the pads and take the short boundary out of the equation. And unfortunately, that one was short and wide and able to access the short boundary. Maybe it was almost a double bluff that maybe the batsman won't expect me to do that.
That's the regulation offie, and that's pulled away by Cobain. Power, and into the gap.
I'd really like to have a look at Cobain's bat, because at the moment it looks like it's all middle. Everything has just pinged off that. I mean, he's hit that very, very hard. Let's not make no mistake about it. But the fielder at long on has not got a huge amount of ground to cover to go and cut that off, and did not have a price.
6 boundaries in 13 balls for Cobain. What a start. Chris Green's having to change his plan as a result. Back to round the wicket. Offie short again. Hit very hard again. This time straight to Blake Cullen at deep mid wicket. Well, if Cobain stays in for another 5 overs, this game could very well be gone for Middlesex. They need to get him out. He is not messing around today. Short, and there's a chance, and it is taken. Again, it's that man Cracknell on the short boundary. He got hold of that, Miles Hammond. But the ball's just attracted to that young man at the moment, and that is a very important breakthrough for Middlesex.
Didn't have to move, safe as houses, and as you say, massive to get that second wicket. Just get a new man at the crease. Hammond had been relatively calm in T20 terms, but he just started to play a couple of very, very crisp shots. He'll be disappointed with that as he goes for 20. 18 deliveries, 2 4s and 1 6. And Glenn Phillips strides to the crease.
Glenn Phillips, signed as an overseas star by Gloucestershire, is available all season in the T20 Blast. He's already played 25 T20 internationals at the age of 24. Good record too, 506 runs at 28. Good strike rate, 149. Got a T20 international 100 as well. And 400s in T20s in general as the rain starts to fall. He's away straight away. Will it be two or just one? Just the single. You can hear the faint pitter-patter of rain on top of our tent here. Macca, is this the start of the heavy stuff coming in, I wonder?
I hope not, because at the moment you could play through this. And I imagine, having got this far into the game, both sides will want to. We said at the top of the broadcast, both sides have got 2 points to their name at the moment. And although we are very early on in this competition, you wouldn't want the gap be getting too big at this stage. So a big 2 points available. So therefore they would like to see this one through. But the problem for Middlesex is that Gloucestershire are still 12 ahead on DLS as we start the 9th.
Very light at the moment. Just need to keep our fingers crossed it remains that way. Phillips faces up to his second ball from Holman, who's on to bowl, and that has been dispatched for a massive 6 over on the short side. Just a bit too short from the young leg spinner. And Glenn Phillips says, thank you very much. I'm going to put that over the trees.
That could have been danger in the traffic on the main road. I mean, he's got all of that and then some. That was a very big hit.
He's a stocky guy, Phillips. Big forearms, short and stocky. You can see where the power comes from. And if you've got 400s in T20 cricket, you score quickly. Oh, he's gone though, hasn't he? The young man tossed that one up, Luke Holman. Glenn Phillips thought it was in his arc. He thought he had a second successive 6, but he's been bowled.
6 and out, just like the back garden. That's how it works. He walks off there saying, was that just a little bit of a variation delivery? Well, it doesn't matter. What a great comeback. First one, he'll tell you himself, he got that a bit wrong. Came out of the hand wrongly. That one was an absolute ripper. And as we do know, wickets change things in terms of DLS. That is the thing. If you can't stem the flow of runs, just 1 or 2 wickets make a massive difference. And therefore the recalculation at the end of this over, I'm not going to say it's moved back in Middlesex's favour. They'll need a couple for that to happen, but it will certainly help.
Yeah, we'll let you know what the recalculation is as soon as we get it. Glenn Phillips was there for a good time, not a long time. 7 off 3 balls.
Best sort.
Oh, drag down again from Holman. Similar to his first delivery, but gets away with it because that was Captain Jack Taylor's first delivery. Didn't feel confident enough to dispatch that. Just takes the 1, which gets Cobain back on strike. Pulls over to the leg side. Has he found the gap? Not quite. Finn does well, coming round from long on. Gets down. Gets his throw away quickly. So 2 more to Cobain.
Again, hit very hard. Stayed low in his crease there and almost flat batted it around the corner.
Oh, and he cuts out to the offside for just a single.
Come on, boys.
Another wicket now really would throw the cat amongst the pigeons as far as the DLS par score is concerned. But the rain has abated a bit. Can't hear it anymore on the tent. Hit hard. Straight to the offside sweeper. And that completes Luke Holman's first over. Went for one big six, but was fairly controlled apart from that. And crucially, picked up the big wicket of Glenn Phillips, the overseas, who had been the most consistent batsman for Gloucestershire this year. He's up to 40 at least in his 3 innings, so that's his lowest score.
11 off the over, but the wicket. That's the really important thing. And the DLS, the latest, well, they're still ahead, but bearing in mind it was 18, almost 20 ahead at one point. Now only 11 ahead. So that's the impact of wickets.
Just the one this time. I think hats off as well to Owen Morgan as well for bringing Holman into the attack. Perhaps knew that they could do with a wicket then, and Holman might go for a few, but leggies often pick up wickets, don't they, in this form of the game?
Absolutely, and especially if it's not someone you know a great deal about, you've got to pick up the nuances of their action. Can't do anything with that, can you?
They're going to need Green to be tight here. I think Middlesex, he's probably the banker with the ball. Took a hat-trick against Kent to finish off the innings, the final 3 balls of the innings. Ended up with a fifer as well, Chris Green, in that game. Again, good bowling. Just fired that in. He bowls with real pace. Somewhere around 63, 64 sometimes.
Yeah, it's driving it into the surface, isn't it? It's getting that momentum and that pace into the surface. Through the shoulder, through the delivery.
Tell you what, there are a few club opening bowlers who only bowl about 64 mile an hour. That was slower, that one. Good mixing from Green. Middlesex really could do with an over without a boundary, which is what this is at the moment.
Well, that's one of those that feels like a moral victory, but unfortunately it still goes down in the book as runs for the batsman. Green standing at the end of his mark with his hands on his head after that. But it is an over that has only gone for 4 so far.
No boundary in the over by Chris Green, and just a single to finish off. Really good from the Middlesex off spinner. So we are halfway through this run chase. Things are delicately poised, you would say. Gloucestershire 98 for 3. So they need a further 82 off the final 10. 8.2 runs per over. Where's your money? What do you reckon?
I think I'd fancy being the chasing team, but 1 or 2 wickets, as we keep saying, and also the timing of them. The timing of the wickets so often makes a difference. Getting the new batsman in, breaking a partnership, and if you can get both the set batsmen an over or so apart, then get 2 new guys at the crease together.
Have you got their Duckworth Lewis paper with you? No, I thought someone must have it down here. Score, is it?
That's what it's all about. All right, Holman to continue. Square driven, but only for a single. Now, intriguingly, just at the end of the over, Chris Green turned to our box and said, "Do you guys have the DLS sheet?" because there is a printout that will have all the scores at the end of each over and with all the wickets. Bowled into the pitch and again just pulled out to long on for a single. Of course, what you have to remember, mentioning no names for anyone in South Africa, is that piece of paper is the par, and you have to add 1 to it if you're the batting side. Sean Pollock, how are you? Hope you're doing well.
Sure he's watching.
Sure he is. That's another half opportunity. On another day, that flies to a fielder.
I just want to look at the next 2 overs, and I'll give it back to you.
The Duckworth Lewis sheet going out to Chris Green.
Give you some content. No, I don't need it. I'll leave it.
That's another ball that has just looped. Finn does the fielding. That's 2 in this over that, again, on another day. But it's a tight over. 35 and 7, the not out batsman. Cobain has 35. Taylor having 7. Well bowled, and Owen Morgan backs up.
He's settled into a nice rhythm now, hasn't he, Holman? Getting his length almost spot on. Just back of a length, not too short though.
Some air on that one. Chris Green's going to have to go running away to his left-hand side, but he's not going to get it. It just went a little bit up out of the hand, as opposed to the ones he's been bowling into the pitch, and that just enables the batsman to get hands through that one. And Jack Taylor moves into double figures and goes to 11. End of the over. 106 for 3.
The ground staff just lurking by those covers. We really do hope that the weather will hold just for the next 45 minutes or so, because that's all we need to complete this game. And if we do, never know, we might get another last over thriller like we got in the Hampshire game. Blake Cullen back into the attack for his second over. His first one was expensive, but he's changed ends. Bowled the first one from the pavilion, and he's now gone back to the Salters field end, which is where he operated from 2 days ago.
Yeah, 17 from that first over. Starts with the short one. Will it carry? No. Oh, and Paul Sterling throws his head back. That's a get off me shot. That's a ball that's coming very, very quickly at the batsman, and he's just flicked that down the leg side. And Paul Sterling, well, is 2 foot away from catching that.
Almost came off. That's how he picked up his wicket against Hampshire. Exactly that, banging the ball in short to the right-hander. 3 men out on the leg side. In fact, you've got 2 men behind square on the boundary on the leg side and 1 at cow corner.
In at the left hip. And just played for a single. He's working up a good head of pace. And although there are the side screens at the far end, either side of that there are quite dark bushes. And the light isn't brilliant. This would be a handful.
I definitely wouldn't fancy it. Let me tell you. He's steaming in Blake Cullen, and it is dark. Oh, he's going short again, surely. Yep.
He is indeed, but it's pulled round the corner very well. Just a single, though. Well, this is the tight over that Middlesex would want. It's that old cricketing cliche, isn't it? Joining up the dots and then 1 good over becoming 2 good overs, becoming 3 good overs. Well, again, there's good pace there. The umpires are just looking at each other. Peter Hartley's just checking, and Martin Sagan says, no, that's absolutely fine.
It's been a real handful when he's dug the ball in short in the last couple of games, Blake Cullen. Interesting, just a very simple tactic. Bowl to your field, get your men out on the leg side, bang it in short and back yourself. You're going to get one over the batsman like he has done there again with his pace.
Swing and a miss from Taylor, again going over the leg side. Which, remember, he's hitting into the big leg side boundary there, or at least trying to. Mid-wicket. Well, sort of quite straight mid-wicket, square leg and long leg. He's prepared to take on the pace.
Wonder if he'll go with a double bluff and slip in a Yorker at any point. No.
And the umpires keep hands in the pockets. End of the over, 109 for 3. And that is 12 gone, and that is 3 from the over. Exactly what Middlesex needed, and exactly the right time.
It's exciting to watch as well, isn't it, when you've got a young tear-away fast bowler running in down the hill, banging the ball in short. Aggressive bowling. You can sense it really gave the crowd a lift. He's getting a warm reception now, Cullen, as he goes down to where most of the fans are seated.
And the DLS is getting closer and closer. Gloucestershire are 109 at the moment. At the end of this over, they would need to be 104, so they're still ahead, but it's getting pulled back. Oh, that's so close from being a return catch. Just a single, though.
My mate Eugene Berger's just asked me, what's the DLS, bud? Well, I'll tell you, mate, it's 104 at the moment. 110 is the score that Gloucestershire are on, so they're just ahead of it.
Driven hard out to Chris Green at long on, who slightly misfielded and got for it in the chest, because I heard him go, oof, from here, and he's about 25 yards away. I know this is quite handy. A Middlesex member and scorer, and friend of mine by the name of Paul Stubbs, has actually just sent me a copy of the DLS for this game, which is very handy. So we can keep an eye on that one. There's, 4 going to the total. Cullen wasn't quite able to cut that one off. And 4 more goes to the total. 115 as Cobain goes to 42.
Come on, lad. Come on, lad.
Cobain looks like the key wicket today. He's just been slightly becalmed over the last 10 balls or so of his innings, but he's started like a house on fire.
Right, Holman goes in. That's good.
Hint of turn there for the young leggy. I like that length as well. Bowling it into the pitch means the batsman can't come down the track to him, can't get the slog sweep out. And just straightened a little bit, didn't it?
In he goes again. That's turning. Batsman whips it out on the leg side. Cracknell does the fielding. Onto him pretty quickly, that one. And again, just a single.
He wore one in the ribs there, I think. Body on the line, the young man. Some of his teammates having a bit of a laugh.
Nicely driven to Chris Green at long off. Just be a single. Makes it 117 for 3 at the end of 13 overs. What's that discussion about? Light? Moisture? Oh dear. What's Martin Saggers saying? It's got to be light, you would have thought, wouldn't you, Matt? Unfortunately.
I think so. I think that's exactly what this conversation is about. It may be that they're saying Blake Cullen can't bowl, might have to bowl spin. Is that a possibility? Which would completely ruin Middlesex's plans. Wouldn't be fair, really, for the home side.
We'll take Cullen out of the attack. We'll take Finn out of the attack. They've only used 5 bowlers so far, so they would have to find some make-up overs.
This could be a key moment in the game, really. This game is so finely poised. Duckworth-Lewis Stern par score is 113, and Gloucestershire have 117, so they're just 4 runs ahead. But if Middlesex can only bowl spin for the rest of this game, they're going to be at a real disadvantage. Green's got a couple left.
And here he comes then, around the wicket. Gets a hand on that one, and it will be a single. As Taylor gets another one. Well, we could always get your chauffeur to just put the lights on the car. I mean, if joking aside, just looking down the ground at the scoreboard at the far end, those lights are now pretty bright, aren't they? I mean, club cricket, we play through this all the time, but this isn't club cricket.
I think even in club cricket, if I was on the balcony at Hampstead, I think this would be pretty dark. You can understand why they've made the decision. Good shot by Taylor. Come back for 2. Good bit of fielding.
Oh. No. Peter Hartley's not interested in that one. It was a lovely shot. Nice clip into the leg side, and they will take a couple. And Cobain continues on his way. He's 45 from 28 balls. 29 now.
Just thinking, if you're saying that the likes of Finn and Cullen can't bowl, can Murtagh bowl, or is he too quick?
That would be the ultimate insult, wouldn't it? To say, sorry, you are actually slow enough to bowl. Cut away.
I don't think he cares.
You'd have to broach that one very carefully as a captain, wouldn't you? You'd have to go up to him and say, mate, I don't know how to put this, but the umpires have said you're not quick enough to be ruled out of this game.
Interesting to see what happens with that. He's got 1 over left, Murtagh. Middlesex have got to find another 6 overs after this. Green and Holman will only have 1 each left.
Where's that going? A long, long way up. Finn! Now that is the moment that Middlesex needed. It's an important wicket, of course. It's a great piece of play. But now, are they talking about the light? They shouldn't be, because if that sells for 6, they wouldn't be having a discussion.
Massive, massive wicket that for Middlesex, wasn't it, in the context of the game? If they are thinking about walking off early, the umpires, Duckworth-Lewis will come into it, of course, and that wicket will just have made things a lot tighter now. Before that wicket, Duckworth-Lewis' par score was 115, and the score's 121, so that gap is going to close as Benny Howell walks to the pitch. One of the all-rounders in this side. Pretty good batsman. Known for his bowling, but he's got a good batting record as well. Genuine all-rounder.
Yeah. 121 for 4. green comes in from the far end to us, and that's clipped not a million miles away from Owen Morgan, and it's a single. Right, so 4 wickets down after 14 overs. So we've had 14, so we're looking for the 15 over score now. It's 1-2-4 at the end of this over.
So they're still ahead of the game.
Yes.
Still ahead of the game. They just need 2. But if Middlesex get another wicket, then that really does change things up again. Getting really tight and nervy